How's everybody doing today? So we're going to jump into the wiring because it is different between a 4.2 liter and a 5.3 liter. So we're going to jump into the wiring. I'm going to show you guys what I got and we'll go from there. So first thing is I went down to one of the local mechanics here in town, and most of these mechanics or repair shops, they got this right there. It is. Let's see if we can focus there. Okay, so this is for a 2000 GMC Envoy XL 2.0 engine. It's the pinouts, it's the wires, the colors, what they do, the whole 9 yards. So I got the one for the Envoy, which this is the Envoy now. Okay. So then is what I got is I got the pinout for a 2004 Chevrolet Trailblazer 5.3 liter engine. Same thing, and I have multiple pinouts, and so the one I'm working on right now is this one here, which is for the transmission control module. So on a 4.0 or a 4.2, excuse me, I keep getting that messed up. But on a 4.2 liter, the ECU has 3 connectors. On a 5.3 liter, and this might be the difference between the years, or I don't know. So I'm not saying that this is on every one because I don't know, but this is my application. So the transmission control module in a 4.2 liter is actually in the ECU. And so I'm taking some of these wires out. I match them up with my 4.2 harness, which is right here. And it is the blue connector. See the BU right there. And then I go over to my 5.3 liter and I find the wire. I find the color, I find the wire, I find exactly what the function of that wire is, and then I am soldering it in. Let's see here. Let me see if I can find it. Where'd it go? Oh, right here. So this I took off of the 5.3 liter Trailblazer. And this harness here, because I need the plugs. I need some of the plugs off of this harness to make this thing work. And I just cut it. This here is the cab side of the harness, so I just cut it so I could get it out here and fiddle-faddle around with it and figure it all out. Now, before I did this, I studied. Not only did I study the books that I got, but I also studied the harnesses. I tore them apart. I started matching stuff up before I ever cut anything. And so to me, that's important. Don't cut nothing until you get it figured out. So after that, like I said, I went to my local mechanic shop. He's actually a good friend of mine. If you're ever in Burns, Oregon, High Desert Diesel, best shop around. There's the 5.3 liter, and there is the transmission control module plug and pin out. And so when I do wires and I'm splicing them, I don't use a connector. I don't use a butt connectors. What I do is I'll take the wire, I'll strip it, and then I solder it. There's my solder. I use one of these little torches, and it makes a really good connection. You don't have to worry about not getting it crimped, it falling out later, and then trying to track all that stuff down. And so I'll kind of, if I can do this, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So my next wire that I'm looking for, it's in pin C. It's a light blue, and it's APP sensor to signal. So I'm coming over here. Now this is the new one. Here's my wire, light blue, because there's not another light blue one on there. And then I'm going to this. And so this is the blue 4.2 liter ECU plug. And so I'm coming over here, and then I look. Oh, what do you know? The first one, pin 1, light blue, APP sensor to signal, which is identical to that. So then I grab the plug, and I've already got this marked. So this here is number 1 right here. And I flip it around and look at that. There is my light blue APP sensor to signal wire. It's right there. So then, if I can find them here, I'm going to try to hold this and show you guys what I'm talking about. If you've never done this before, if you have, then you know what I'm doing. If you haven't, then just bear with me here and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. And so I cut the wire, and then I'm taking these out and getting them out of this harness, because I don't know where I'm going to be mounting that transmission control module. It could go up on the firewall, I could mount it on fender wells, but I want to have as long a harness as possible here. So then I grab my plug, my new plug. Let's go ahead and strip this off. Then let's go ahead, strip this one off. Okay. And then we're going to get a piece of shrink wrap here. And cut that. Put the extra back over there. I'm going to slide my shrink wrap over. And then I'm just going to bring these two together and twist them up just a little bit. Okay. If I pulled on these, it'd pull right apart. I'm sure most of you all know that, though. So then is what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire up my little butane torch here. I'll lock it so it stays that way. And then we'll get our solder here. Now I'm trying to do this and hold this phone and everything at the same time. It's a little bit complicated, but I'm sure we can get it done. And so I go in and I heat the wire up a little bit first. And then I bring the solder in on it. And there you go. There's your connection. Let it cool off a little bit. And before you heat shrink it, give this sucker a little tug. Make sure you're happy with that. And I'm pulling pretty hard on that. I mean, you can see that thing straighten right out. Then just slide your heat shrink right on over. Just like that. Make sure I'm covering both sides. Heat shrink that down. And there you go. You got a weatherproof, tight connection on both of them. Let me shut my torch off here before I burn myself. So that's what I'm doing. And so I highly recommend getting these printouts. the other thing is if you want a printout, I can also take pictures of this and put them into this video to where you can pause it and look and figure it out that way too. So yeah, whatever you need, let me know. We'll talk to you later. Thank you. Okay, you guys, I got to correct myself. That was not for the transmission control module. I'm sorry. The wires that I was doing there are for the throttle body connector. It's not the actual connector that goes on the throttle body, but it actually goes to this module right here. And I'm assuming that this is the throttle body connector module. So I assume that this is because this is a drive-by wire, and so I'm assuming this is what does cruise controls and coast and excel and all of that in here. So as I was saying, that's why I left them wires long, because I don't know where this is going to end up when I'm all done here. So I'll keep you updated and we'll keep working on it here. Alrighty guys, I got it done. There's where all my connections are. This is the one plug that the 5.3 V8 application has coming off of it. As you can see, I've had wires going into the fuse box. I got wires going back into this harness plug. That is the 4.2 fuse box and relay box. And this is the plug that come off, these two that come off of the 4.2 application that goes into the ECU. And that plug there is for, I believe, AC stuff. And then when you change this all over, that all goes to this plug, which is on the harness right over there. So it wasn't too bad of a project, a job, but I highly recommend getting a copy of these. The one thing I like about these is because you do have multiple wires that are same color, like a gray with a black or the orange, and they're designated for certain areas and whatnot. So if you look at this, like this dark blue, which is in pin number 2 of the blue connector, it's a dark blue wire, but here's the number of the wire. 1161, and it tells you what it's for. Now if we go down through here, we're going to find another dark blue wire. It's in pin 43. It's dark blue, but it's wire 2364. And so I highly recommend getting you a set of these. If you guys want me to take some pictures of these and post them, just specify which ones you want. And so I got the 4.2, I got the 5.3, I got some more 4.2 stuff. We'll just get together and you tell me what plug you want, and I can post this to where you guys can see it and blow it up or whatever, and then maybe solve some of your problems. With that said, I'm going to end this video. I believe this is part 9 of the 62 C10 build. But now I'm putting the 5.3 liter in it because I wanted the V8. Let's see here, which is gonna should happen today. I think my rear main seal's showing up. My new exhaust manifold bolts are showing up, and I was going to put some headers on this deal, but I don't know which route I'm going to go. So I didn't want to spend a bunch of money on headers if I'm going to twin turbo it. And so I'm going to get all this put together. I'm going to drive this thing, and I'm going to give that a little time to resonate. Do I want 1,000 horsepower, or do I want just reliable 500 horsepower? I don't know yet. So we're gonna play around with that and get that figured out here in a later date. So with that said, I'm going to end this video. Next video will be the installation of this. This should be going in today. I'm going to be pulling the transmission off, torque converter, replacing the rear main seal. This goes back together. But first I need to get the rest of this out. I need this wiring harness needs to go. That transmission needs to go. Tranny lines need to go. Them fuel lines need to go. And so that's my morning project, and hopefully my rear main seal shows up. As soon as that shows up, I am going to get that thing done, swap the differential, because this is the differential right there that came out of this deal. There's the other half of it. That way I know my gear ratios match up. The other thing is, guys, is I am using the 5.3 liter fuse block, relay block on this deal too. Everything should match up. I'm really crossing my fingers that when I plug all this stuff in, I hit the key and it starts up. That's my goal. I'll put all the protective stuff on that after I plug all this in. I want to get this harness all taped up really nice and looking good, just to have to cut back into it because I missed something, which is not hard for me to do. I caught one of my mistakes last night. I fixed it last night. So yes, and my recommendation on this is go very, very slow. Mark everything and take your time on the wiring portion of this. Actually, on every portion of this, take your time, guys. There's no sense in getting a big hurry and then have to tear stuff apart and do it twice or 3 times. Just take your time, mark everything, take pictures, the whole 9 yards. That way you're not messing it up or chasing problems. And hopefully I'm not going to be chasing problems because I did take my time. So thank you everybody for watching, and hopefully here in another couple days the 5.3 will be in there and maybe we can start this sucker. All right, thank you.